Concerns over mystery flights that have taken off from China headed for Iran, and it's raising questions on how China may be helping Tehran in the effort against Israel. Good person to have here on this issue. China expert Michael Pillsbury joins us this morning. Michael, what's your sense about this? What do you think's going on?
Ashley, good morning. There's been a string of reports over the last 2 or 3 years that China is up to something nefarious and evil. The problem is the reports all have always turned out to be false. There was a report, remember the laboratory that was discovered in California? There were 700 white mice, and supposedly they were going to inflict the Ebola virus on the western United States, and the Chinese general supposedly had said, we want to occupy the western United States. Then there was the military-age men coming across the border, 10,000, 20,000, having target practice. They were going to form kind of a shadow army inside the U.S. and do some terrible thing. Each time that these events are forecast, they prove not to be true. It's a quite natural thing. And my own forecast is President Trump will be calling Xi Jinping to talk about the Iran thing. But the important thing is China is not backing Iran. They've abandoned Iran. They've said some very kind of vanilla type comments that they wish there were peace in the region. But this is their ally from whom they buy most of their oil. And they can't get together and say, leave Iran alone or, take some kind of anti-Israeli stance. To me, this is really quite stunning that without saying so, China is backing what President Trump is doing and even offering to help. There's a statement, I'm sure you've seen it, by the Chinese ambassador here in Washington, which sounds like an offer to mediate. Yeah. So I very much doubt that there are nuclear weapons on these 3 747s. It's going to be another example of where commentators make irresponsible claims, and they need to be held to account afterwards. If there's no nuclear weapons on the planes, if they're just going to evacuate their embassy, somebody needs to apologize for these really wild. Frankly, actually, they're designed to make President Trump look soft. These people making these forecasts or these scenarios, they always have a theme that Trump is not soft, is too soft on China. I think they undermine what President Trump's trying to do, which is have a legacy of peace and prosperity. He's been really clear.
And very quickly, Michael, I'm sorry we're running out of time, but there's a lot of news, as you know. China has been trying to expand its influence in the Middle East. Have they been successful at all in that regard?
No, they are really trying to make money with huge investments, and the Arab world in general is turning them down. I think that was the reason for Trump's visit to the Middle East countries, is to make sure they don't go with China. If the price is right, they will go with China. But I think President Trump succeeded in a lot of these deals that we're also afraid of the Chinese getting control of the economies of the Middle East. That's not happening either. Yeah. So one more Trump phone call to Xi Jinping, we may see some real progress, Ashley.
That will be interesting indeed. Great stuff as always, Michael Pillsbury. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise with